Okay, first video, brand new channel. What better way to get started and gain a bunch of subscribers than basically expressing my concerns for one of the most beloved franchises of all time. Anyway, welcome. Happy to have you here with me. I suppose as this is my first video, I should probably introduce myself. My name is Inept Saiyan, and today we're going to be talking about Halo Infinite. Okay kids, let's talk. This is a video I've been wanting to make for some time, and I can never quite figure out how to put it together or how to say what I want to say, so I just gave up on all planning and just thought I would ramble a bit. Now, before I get started, I really need to clarify that what I'm about to say are the words of a concerned fan, rather than a fanboy of some rival console or franchise that's looking to take shots. Now, as things stand at this very moment, I feel like it would be fair to say that the Chief isn't in the best shape he's ever been in. 343 Industries are taking the reins for the third time now with Halo, and after the enjoyable but very safe entry in the series that was Halo 4, and the widely recognised misstep in the series that was Halo 5, we are now 6 years into development with Halo Infinite, and as someone who loves Halo, boy am I nervous. Now, you might be thinking me going with the title Why Halo Infinite Needs to Be a Hit and the big thumbnail that says Last Chance is a bit dramatic, but look, this is YouTube, you already know the deal. Now look, I don't think the world will end if Halo Infinite isn't a hit, but I have been thinking a lot lately of what it means for the franchise and the Xbox brand as a whole if 343 doesn't release a game that isn't at least in the conversation for Game of the Year. Now, believe me when I say it would be very difficult to find someone who wants Infinite to be the best thing ever more than I do. I love this franchise. In some ways, I feel like I've lived this franchise, and all I really want is to see it succeed. But let's take a real serious look at where we stand right now. I don't have to go into any great detail on why chatter around the development of Infinite is a little worrying. We all know about the demo in 2020 that caused a bit of a stir, we all know about it being delayed a year, and we all know about features such as co-op campaign and Forge not being there at launch. Now, when you stack on top of that the previously mentioned stumbles, which were Halo 4 and 5, and then you stack on top of that the last widely praised Halo game was Reach back in 2010, and then you consider the fact that Halo isn't quite the big dog anymore in the first-person shooter space because there are so many first-person shooters that exist now, well, it does seem to start like it's a bit of an uphill battle for 343. Listen, I'm not trying to trample on anybody's excitement for the game because, to be honest, no matter what they put out, I'm going to be there myself ready on day one at midnight. But I did get to thinking about what it would take to make this game special. And then I got to thinking of what made the previous game special, which started to worry me a little more, but stick with me while I walk you through it. So, Halo Combat Evolved. That was a special game because it basically came out of nowhere, revamped how we thought about shooters on consoles, it felt original, and at the time of its release, it was a bit of a technical marvel. Halo 2 was a special game because it built on top of the momentum of Combat Evolved, had a bigger and more ambitious campaign, along with introducing a lot of people who never owned PCs to online multiplayer, and had a revolutionary matchmaking system. Halo 3 was a special game because it was the first Halo on a new console, the final chapter of a beloved trilogy, and arguably one of the most popular multiplayer games ever made, and managed to stick the landing on everything it set out to do. Halo 3 ODST was a special game because it expanded on the franchise, gave us a fresh and alternate perspective to the universe, made some changes with its vibe and pacing, and, you know, let's be honest, that jazz soundtrack was pretty awesome. Halo Reach was a special game because it was Bungie's goodbye to the franchise, a game that was created from all of the lessons they learned about what makes a Halo game great, with an incredibly balanced, varied, and powerful campaign that also added just enough new features to improve, but not completely rewrite the formula. Now, if I'm being 100% honest with myself, I'm not quite yet seeing what makes Halo Infinite so special, but that could be because we've seen so little of the game so far. I'd like to say that it's going to be unbelievable visually, but we've not quite seen enough of it yet since the delay. I'd also like to say that the new open world approach is going to revolutionise the series, but we don't quite yet know how open it's going to be, and I'd also like to say that the story is going to deliver on the thread set up in 4 and 5, but once again, information is very light. Now, recently, Senior Creative Director at 343, Joseph Staten, said that they haven't put together any new gameplay demos because the fact of the matter is they take a lot of effort and time, and they'd rather have everybody working on the game to make it as good as it can be. Now, I completely understand and agree with this logic. However, although this statement is supposed to get across the message of, hey, we're putting all of our resources into making Infinite great, I mean, is it just me that actually feels like it says we need everybody working on this because it's still not quite ready? Look, maybe I'm overthinking things and everything is going perfectly well, development is going great, they have some genius marketing plan right before release to dump a bunch of screenshots and footage to get us all hyped for the game. I hope that all of my assumptions are wrong, I really, really do, but what if they're not? Now, I hope by this point in the video I'm starting to paint a picture of exactly why I'm concerned. Halo is a franchise that at one point was literally the biggest thing in entertainment and without question held the Xbox brand up while they were finding their feet. At the same time, Xbox has this brand new console that has all this power and capability, and to me it's clear that Phil Spencer is working very hard to bring us the best games possible, but I feel like they haven't done anything groundbreaking games-wise recently, nor is there enough evidence to suggest that they will do in the future, although I am very excited for games like Fable and Perfect Dark and Hellblade 2. So we're now in a position where not only has it been over a decade of divisive and sometimes questionable decisions for the Halo series, but also I don't know if you've noticed, but I feel like it's been quite some time since Xbox put out a game that seriously blew people away or cleaned up with Game of the Year awards. So not only does Halo need Halo Infinite to be a hit because it needs to prove that the franchise is still in good hands and is one of the biggest and best things out there, but Xbox also needs something that is going to sell more consoles, sell subscriptions to Game Pass, and also shake off that last little bit of bad rep from the Don Matrick days. Ugh. So this is the part where I ask myself the question, can the Halo franchise really afford to have a third game in a row that doesn't receive universal praise? Like, let's not get things confused here. Chief is literally Mr. Xbox. He's the guy. And I'm not sure what happens to Halo if another game comes out and doesn't do record numbers or whatever the equivalent is in this Game Pass era that we're now in. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm sure Gears of War 6 will be a lot of fun, but it's not even close to being ready for release. And I'm positive that I'll enjoy Forza Horizon 5, even though I think it will largely be more of the same, but I don't see millions of people rushing out to buy a Series X for those games. I don't know all of the nitty-gritty details, but in terms of sales, what I keep hearing is that the PS5 keeps outselling the Xbox Series X month on month, due to Sony's success with God of War, Ghost of Tsushima, Spider-Man, The Last of Us, not to mention recent releases like Ratchet & Clank, and then looking forward you have sequels to Horizon, Spider-Man again, and God of War again. Sony is certainly in quite the strong position. I don't personally care about all of the console war nonsense, but I have to assume that Xbox would like to turn the tide on this, and although I understand these things take time, it does make me wonder how long the average consumer is willing to wait. If we're, let's say, 3 years away from Xbox having a real strong library of current AAA titles, is that too much to ask? If Infinite comes out and is okay and gets updates and improvements across its first year, but then is considered great, is that too long to wait? And is the value of Game Pass enough to convince more and more people to pick up an Xbox? I'd consider myself quite a patient guy, and if Halo Infinite isn't a hit after 6 years of development, and games like Avowed, Perfect Dark, and Gears of War 6 are still some time away, well, it doesn't really send the message that they've got everything under control. Let me be 100% clear when I say I completely understand that making games, even the less ambitious ones, is tough, and to make something truly outstanding it takes a lot of talent, a lot of work, and probably a bit of luck. So in no way, shape or form am I questioning the level of skill of anyone at 343, or anyone at Xbox Studios for that matter, but I am starting to think if those skills and talents and resources are being utilised in the best way possible. Honestly, these are all questions that I really don't have the answer to, but I'm super curious to see how they play out. Now, I personally hope that this video ages terribly, and Infinite is 10 out of 10, blow your socks off, tears of joy amazing. If it isn't, well, Microsoft is a billion-dollar company, I'm sure they'll be fine, but I do start to think that the Xbox brand can't take too many more hits. Look, if you think I've made some good points and hit the nail on the head, then you are 100% correct. If you think that I don't know what I'm talking about and should stop making videos immediately, then you are also 100% correct. Either way, if you liked this video, then you know what to do. Hit the like button, subscribe, and I'm sure there'll be a bunch of you in the comments to tell me exactly why I'm wrong. That's going to wrap it up for this video. I've been Inept Saiyan, you've been a wonderful audience, and I hope to see you next time.